Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, AJ2 Love, here with another AEW Dynamite review for October 7th, 2020. It was the celebration of 30 years of Chris Jericho in the business, along with the dog collar match between Cody and Brodie Lee for the TNT title. It was really fun. Really bloody match between the two. Did not disappoint. We also had another edition of FTR's Brush of Greatness. They face off against the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Hiroko. Of course, we also had Chris Jericho and Jake Hager face off against the Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico, and a bunch to go over. But thank you all for joining me. If you're new to the podcast, like and subscribe for all your pro wrestling reviews, as well as my sports overview topics, where I go over predictions for the NFL or MMA that week, as well as covering any sports content. But today it's about AEW. First thing, considering it was the Chris Jericho 30-year celebration, made me think of all the really fun matches I have seen throughout Chris Jericho's career in the pro wrestling business. I mean, few of the matches that go off the top of my head, there's of course, he was in that really fun ladder match against Chris Benoit, Royal Rumble 2001. There was also that very fun tag team match for the tag team titles where he teamed up with Benoit, and where they face off against a two-man power trip, Triple H and Stone Cold. Obviously, that was also infamous because that was the night Triple H tore his quad, but still that was a fun tag team match. Also TLC 4, along with the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian. Also Chris Jericho, that ladder match. He is always fun in a ladder match. That was definitely one of his specialties. Him versus Shawn Michaels at No Mercy 2008. One of the best ladder matches I have ever seen. Just can't really complain. I mean, a lot to go off the top of my head. And face Edge at WrestleMania 26. That was also fun. Just a lot to digest. He had a lot of fun matches over the years. And he continues to have fun matches in AEW. There was the match against Kenny Omega, the rematch at Double or Nothing last year. There was him versus Cody at Full Gear. Just a bunch to go over. Yeah, there was also him versus Orange Cassidy, the first one. So, just yeah, and hopefully more and more fun matches to come out of Chris Jericho. But though that was my little recollection of Chris Jericho's long and continuing career in pro wrestling. So now let's get into the show. So that was my recollection of Chris Jericho, but the show actually started off. There was a little video package of the AEW roster talking about memories of Chris Jericho when he, broke onto the scene. There was Scorpio Sky, Darby Allin, the Best Friends, Britt Baker. Bunch chimed in on their fond memories of Chris Jericho and saying good deeds about him. So the show started off with a fun match between Will Hobbs and Brian Cage for the FTW title. Honestly, it didn't need to be on the line. It's not really a key title for AEW. It's just there to try and enhance Ryan Cage. He doesn't really need the title, but as part of Team Taz, I guess that's how it goes. So, but this was interesting because there was a showcase of Will Hobbs. For those who have watched AEW Dark, he's been on AEW Dark a frequent amount of times. He's looked good in some aspects. He's green in the ring. Of course, he was supposed to be in that 6-man tag 2 weeks ago with Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, Ricky Starks, Ryan Cage, Lance Archer. But of course, Archer came down with COVID. But so still, this was a nice showcase match for Will Hobbs with one of the best in the business and Ryan Cage. I mean, so getting into the match, there was a power slam by Will Hobbs for 2. He had Sky High. Also, there was like an F5 by Cage for a near fall. Then they collided with doing clotheslines. There was a good spine buster by Hobbs for a 2 count. But then after he was frustrated, he went for a frog splash, missed, and then Brian Cage landed the drill claw for the win. Like I said, this match, showcase match for Hobbs. See, first of all, this was interesting because, I mean, both men are, physical specimens, and both are very agile for guys their size, as you can see. One skeptical area I had about this match was, I wish they would have shown a video package or vignette of Will Hobbs prior to his entrance. because we still kind of do not know who Will Hobbs really is, his character. I mean, all we really know is he's a big guy who's agile, but I mean, they tried to tell his story during the match, but it was almost like still, but kind of too late. I mean, they talked about how his brother was killed by gunfire, and so every time he wrestles, he thinks of him. But still, it was kind of not really showcasing his character, but I guess it did the job. I guess after the match, Taz gave because he was on commentary along with Ricky Starks. He gave Will Hobbs an ultimatum. He said, "Okay, well, Will Hobbs, you looked impressive even though you lost." He said, "Okay, you can either go with option A, uh, you can join Team Taz, or B, you can get your ass kicked by Ryan Cage and Ricky Starks right now." So then Darby Allin came out. It just he tore off the attack of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Taz said one day Darby Allin will learn not to get in Team Taz business, you punk. But I mean, overall, this is okay. The ramp. See, another skeptic is why they need to play a guy's music. If he's coming in for the save, because the previous ramp was long, so I mean, kind of made sense as to why they would play a wrestler's music on the way to ring when he's making a save. But the ramp is very short, so I mean, only playing a wrestler's music for a few seconds. Although they kept on playing the music throughout when Darby Allin was up there, but still, well, minor skepticisms. So it was okay. So next we had a vignette to Lance Archer talking about his match next week against Moxley, documenting their previous match in New Japan. Said how he's going to finish the job and that he's not like anyone Moxley has faced before. This was a really good shot vignette. It looked like they were in the back of just some parking lot area with a bunch of graffiti around. It was just really goodly shot. I'm not sure. Well, it was probably shot in advance, but still, nonetheless, Archer seems to be okay. I mean, and should be good to go for next week. I mean, I believe it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been at least 2 weeks since Archer came down with COVID, so should be better. Should be good to go next week against Moxley. I can't wait for the match. So next we had FTR's second edition of their Brush of Greatness. They face the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico. Both are very talented. It's just there's not really much character between them, and they have not been really on Dynamite in a long time. Although that's kind of credit to the mass goodness of the tag team division. So many good tag teams in AEW. But so this was a fine match. There was a fast start by Hybrid 2. At one point, FTR looked like they were going to take their titles and leave. But it was a couple dives onto the outside by Jack Evans and Hybrid 2. And Helico. Which thwarted the FTR about to leave. So then there were some good spots, although there was one kind of botch where Jack Evans went for a corkscrew leg drop on Dax off the top rope. He missed. I'm not sure if he didn't get all of what he wanted or Dax was in the wrong spot, but he missed Dax Harwood entirely. Commentary tried to play it up as he hit him in the head with his foot. And then, Evans went to the second rope for a second rope moonsault. But that was a weird spot. So in most of this match was FTR ganging up on Jack Evans toward the end. Then they hit their superplex top rope splash combination on Jack Evans for the win. Afterwards, Best Friends came out kind of promo on FTR in the ring. Took their belts and threw them at FTR. And next week we got Best Friends versus FTR. Should be interesting. I don't think FTR is going to lose the titles to Best Friends. But it should be an interesting match. I think. Well, we still think FTR and the Young Bucks are going to face each other for the titles. And that's where Young Bucks probably get the break and win the titles finally. Probably at Full Gear. But yeah, next week should be an interesting match. So next we had MJF offer up his words of recollection of Chris Jericho when talking about how he got his first real break when he came to AEW when he met Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho said, "You got something." And MJF talked about how later in the evening he may or may not be out there with Chris Jericho to help celebrate. So there was that. Perhaps because they talked about the tournament for the number one contendership for the AEW World title. Again, perhaps MJF enters in the tournament and he winds up using the inner circle as a way to win and get another title shot. I'm not sure, but we'll see how things go down. It's got me intrigued still, MJF in the inner circle. So next up, we had the dog collar match between Cody and Brodie Lee. Jeez, this was brutal. They talked about how the last dog collar match was between Greg the Hammer Valentine and Roddy Piper back in the day. They actually had Greg Valentine in attendance, and rest in peace, Roddy Piper. But yeah, this was interesting. They made it feel kind of real, more real with the announcing of the Doctor, and then having, of course, Greg Valentine there. So Brodie Lee came out with John Silvers and Anna Jay. John Silvers, he had the chains around, and I feel bad for John Silvers. He pretty much got whacked this whole match. Pretty much started bell. Silvers was inadvertently hit by Cody with the chain and knocked off the ring apron and was busted open. And then, so they went back and forth. Cody, I'm not sure. I think he went for the Cody cutter off the top rope, but Brodie, he yanked the chain and basically yanked Cody off the top rope. Nice little spot. Finding ways, unique ways to use the chain to your advantage. So then they fought to the outside, and then Brodie Lee, he told John Silvers to go sit in a chair. So he set him up in the chair. Next thing you know, Brodie Lee turns away, and then John Silvers gets drop kicked in the face by Cody. So it's like, you go sit there, and then he gets whacked in the face by Cody. Jeez. But yeah. So Cody was bust open. Actually, they were mixing up in the ring. Cody used the chain to his advantage, basically low-blowed Brodie with the chain, then hit a Russian leg sweep using the chain as well. Nice usage. Then they was a tope suicida by Cody. And then Cody wound up outside the barricade, and then it was basically a tug of war. Brodie dragged Cody into a few times into the barricade, and then dragged him over back to the ringside area. And then Brodie got the timekeeper's table set up on the outside of the apron. And then Cody, they fought the apron, and then Cody got off the apron, and he pulled the chain, and then used Brodie's momentum and delivered a cutter on the Cody, on the Brodie on the outside. Our names sound the same, so sorry. Then during the break, Brodie Lee landed through the table and was busted open on the outside. And then next thing you know, they get into the ring. Brodie landed a beautiful boss man slam, and then was hit with a top rope moonsault and then a crossroads for a 1 count. And then Brodie hit a beautiful powerbomb for a near fall. Was a superplex. Then Cody, he dropped the chain around Brodie Lee's face and wailed on him with a few elbows and strikes, and then hit another crossroads for the win. Afterwards, it was a congratulations, and then a nice promo by Cody. Then Orange Cassidy came out. They basically gave the thumbs up. Cody gave him a thumbs up, and next week we got Cody versus Orange Cassidy for the TNT Championship. Orange Cassidy, if this is in way a plan, it's like Cody wins the title from Brodie Lee to drop it to Orange Cassidy. That would be interesting. Will it happen? I don't know, but it should be an interesting matchup next week. So yeah. Next we had a vignette or an interview of Kenny Omega. He talked about the tournament. Talked about some of his competitors, mostly Hangman Page. He just exuberated confidence. Alex Marvez described it as somewhat arrogant. And Kenny Omega, I mean, he's probably the favorite currently to win that tournament right now. Because they announced Jungle Boy, Ray Phoenix, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Colt Cabana, and Wardlow. So there's 2 other spots. I think I don't know how many people are going to actually be in the tournament, but as far as traditional style goes, I think 2 spots are left. I could be wrong, but yeah. So next we have Big Swole for Serena Deeb. This was an okay match. Big Swole wins here. Serena Deeb, she's a good veteran, and Big Swole, of course, she's kind of still trying to get into her own in AEW. I mean, she got a nice look. She can move okay in the ring. Her theme song is catchy, but yeah, if she can get more wins, because I think they said she was the number 2 ranked contender in the women's division. So would be interesting. See what happens with Big Swole. So next we had a vignette to Jon Moxley. He looked like he was in a bar. He talked about Lance Archer. Described how people just simply beat Lance Archer, they survive him. Described their previous encounter in New Japan, saying Archer is coming around the world to finish the job. Said that maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he survives them next week, maybe he doesn't. But then he used Archer's saying, said, like you say, Archer, everybody dies. So Moxley took a shot and left. So, yeah. did what he needed to do. I can't wait for his match next week. Should be fun. I'm not sure how it goes. I mean, I can see it going both ways, but just can't wait to see Moxley versus Archer again next week. So then we got the main event, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager for his Chaos Project. If it was any other night, the dog collar match would have been the main event, but because this was Chris Jericho's celebration, 30 years, this match went on last. This was okay. I mean, there were some okay spots. Luther, he has sent on a kind of slow, kind of misjudged senton on the inner circle on the outside, took him out. There was an assist. I'm not sure what they call it, but it was like an assisted meteora off the top rope by Chaos Project for a nice near fall. Then Jericho hit the Juice Vect on Luther for the win. I mean, obviously Chris Jericho and Luther have history, but there were times in this match where Luther, he looked fatigued and he just his timing was off a bit. It was just kind of odd, but it was okay. I mean, it was Chris Jericho's 30-year anniversary, so afterwards, Chris Jericho thanked the fans. MJF came out with a gift, and Wardlow, he was dragging a gift down. It looked like someone kind of was under present. I was confused as to what it was. So MJF said he didn't mean disrespect. He didn't mean to show up Jericho. So they took this cloth off this person. It wound up being a clown. And then the clown held this portrait in his hands. And then Chris Jericho, he unwrapped this portrait, wound up being a portrait of MJF. Then he smashed the portrait over the clown's head and then gave him a juice effect. So yeah, that took out the clown. And then Chris Jericho said, first of all, I hate clowns and I hate portraits, or whatever he said. So it looked like they were going to boil and fight, but then they laughed it off. And then that was pretty much it. So then afterwards, celebratory music came in. Most of the roster came out. Sean Spears, FTR, Tully Blanchard, the Lucha Brothers, Britt Baker, Reba. Bunch of roster came out with some champagne. Yeah, celebratory. And it was funny. There was credits showing up in front of the screen, and for every one of the people, it said Chris Jericho for every one of the positions. It said Chris Jericho. It just went down Chris Jericho, Chris Jericho. And then Excalibur said, Chris Jericho does camera 4. And it was fine. JR said he's really ambidextrous. So that was pretty much how Dynamite went off the air. Jericho is celebrating with the AEW roster. I mean, this was pretty much a celebratory show. After the dog collar match, it kind of dimmed down the rest of the show, but it was fine. It was good. Next week, the anniversary show, it's going to be really interesting. 3 title matches. We got Moxley versus Archer. We got FTR versus Best Friends. And we got Cody versus Orange Cassidy. Should be fun. Anniversary show next week. Like I said, this was a celebratory type of show. It's good. Congratulations on Chris Jericho, 30 years. Actually, there were many athletes and people that congratulated Chris Jericho throughout the show. Shaq, Kevin Smith, Chris Jericho's father. There was a band. Don't remember what it was. There was just a bunch of people. There was Lance Storm, Bully Ray. He didn't really say anything. He just drank a little bit of the bubbly and spit it out and gave the Longhorns kind of thing. But yeah, it was just a good move. Also, Gabriel Iglesias. He had Chavo Guerrero on a Zoom call. But yeah, overall, it was just a okay show, good show. Prelude to next week, which should be another interesting, fun show as we get closer to Full Gear. But again, thank you all for joining me. This good episode of Dynamite. I'll be back on Tuesday with your sports review topics. So thank you all, and I'll be back on Tuesday.